The 315 Bloor was the headquarters of the Meteorological Service of Canada. It was not in Ottawa, it was here. And so that's where all the weather activity for the country emanated from. Well, on the ground floor would have been the Teletype Room, which was where you have the offices on the west side of the entranceway. And then on this side, in that room there, is where the coding was done. And
so the coding was done in the boardroom?
Yes, in the boardroom. And the forecasting that came out of here that went into the newspapers would have been done in that area where the teletype machines were and so on. The tower, of course, was no longer used for a telescope. That had gone by the board long before. And so it was mostly storage. There was map storage. You had these, you see the map would have been so by so. So they had to be stored in a certain way. And that would have been in the tower. I have to tell you that in the basement was where the printing office was. And the people who worked in the printing office were veterans from World War I. And they tended to be, well, they had a few bottles of something down there and whatever. So we had to go to down there because that's where the barometer was that we were going to have to read every time we did an observation. But you might also like to think about the fact that if you look through those windows, you're looking out over the playing field. In the old days, when things were more civilized, in the wintertime, they had ice over there. And the Toronto Scottish band played the cold weather for the ice skating. And so you'd sit here plotting your map, doing your job that you had to do. And there was the Toronto Scottish over there with their band and this lovely music drifting over. It was about far enough, about the right distance from listening to a band. Yeah. And so, but that was one of the features that we got. The first thing that I said, and it was the first thing that occurred to me, I couldn't think of a better use for the building than to have it as part of the Global Affairs department in a university, because the gathering of weather data was one of the first universal efforts to make a universal collection of data. And there are some really good books written about, I mean, there have been there's a good history about that the idea of being able to gather the information and so that kind of continuation of the global gathering of information was, to me, that was very moving, that is the way it had gone.